Okay.
You have a music channel. Is it wait, Andre? Is it no, that's not it. I don't know, what is it?
Andre Campana music. Very
Magic.
original. I mean, it just makes
Well,
sense, right?
and could you send me a
Very
link? I can't find it.
fine. Here you go.
In general. Oh, okay. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, there it is. Composing his second whatever.
Or at least trying to.
Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, pretty much. Now, what was I talking about? I don't know. Discord bots. I don't know. Yeah, about Arduino Christmas lights. It's like I also heard or saw that you could into an Arduino you could basically plug a wireless chip. So basically, it could be connected to internet. Well, not really internet. It's not as powerful. It would probably be connected to my local area network, which would be good enough since I have a local server running. And if I could like, because you can put pretty much any sensor on a Arduino. You could like have motion sensors and light sensors and shit like that, and you can pretty much automate it or make your own Internet of Things and make a smart household, just building everything on your own. And it's sort of cool. Like it feels like a good, project to do.
Yeah, like Minecraft.
Yeah, it is. It actually is like that. It's like, if you don't hear your microwave, alert, then you can just put a sensor there connected to Wi-Fi and have a Discord bot tell you when your lunch is ready. It's like non-invasive. Like it's not like someone's gonna hack into it and turn on your lights. Like, okay, someone's gonna hack into it and know when my microwave oven is off. Well, good for you. But it's a fun game to try. And speaking of projects that I want to do but can't, in Unity, I was actually, and that is my lifelong dream. I believe that if I could do it, I would not be online in Amnesia community for a long time because I just absolutely need to separate raw mouse inputs for the Windows API. Basically, what I want to do is basically like have a Unity game that has two mouse cursors
Oh
or
god,
multiple
Spellos, who are you talking to?
to Droud.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll just stay in the chat. Jesus Christ. point where you start to brainstorm, or at least try to brainstorm something. Yeah, that part is right now. This is an idea that like a little idea that I had while I was doing the dishes in the morning, because it's been a while that I've been working on this draft, so to say, of the sonata, and yeah, I don't know if I should use it in the first movement, if I should probably work it out to put it on the second movement. One thing that I should do, however, is to see if the comments are popping up, because I had a little thing to possibly pop up the comments over here, but unless there are comments, this is not working. Dang it. Where's the live dashboard? There we go. But it's not this one, even, because of how NVIDIA streams. Fine. Ah, because this is the wrong channel, of course. Ugh. But yeah, that's the deal. Just change the channel and watch the stream myself. There we go. At least now I can see if something comes in there. I did not have a very good... I did not sleep well today. So this is like a common moment when I'm trying to write a song or something like that, where I just pretty much run out of ideas. I have something great like this part where it opens up right here. It starts to open up. I might be stealing this from another composer that I cannot remember right now. But this is, to me, this is just absolute gold. This part where really opens up. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Sure, I am relying too much on the pedal to create the whole effect of this part, because there isn't, like, it's just, this whole part would just not sound good without a pedal. Like if I do this. Like, it just doesn't sound good at all. Unless I'm putting markers on the notes, which in this case, to make all of them min together, so to say, this would be a tenuto mark. But still, well, what? Where are the harmonics? You know, the gorgeous sound of the piano when you press the pedal. Even though the pedal is emulated by Encore, so it's still not even great as it would be on a real piano, because of course, as good as the synthesizer and the sound font that I got here is, it's still far from a real pedal. Let me try experimenting around a little bit. Crap. Just do this. I'm gonna make these a little bit quieter. Okay. Boom, ba-dum. Probably have to tie these two. This is the sort of budges that I do on Encore. And it's still not the true grace note that I want, because here on Encore, if I try to create a grace note, cue grace, it doesn't play the grace note, or it plays like way too fast. Or in this case, it doesn't even play it. So this is why I try avoiding using specific markers. For example, even though Encore has the crescendo and decrescendo tools like this, I avoid them as much as possible because the dynamics are completely screwed up using these tools, and most of the time, if not all the time, the dynamic markings, they're way too quiet. Where's the dynamic? The dynamics windows. They're gone. Fine. You know, you got this F and P and FF and the markings. They work, but again, they are way too quiet, and the range. So really, it's just Encore is a sort of powerful program, but more as a MIDI editor, not exactly as a notation software. But I like it because of the sort of freedom that I have with it most of the time. I tried using Sibelius, I tried using a range of other programs, but I just... most of these programs try to automate everything, and although this is good in a sense, like, for example, on Sibelius, it would just simply place the rests automatically for me. Instead of letting me just place them and then drag them and then click on the start of the measure. Well, I can only click at the start of the measure. It's only going to play from the start of the measure, not from each beat or each note as Sibelius. So Sibelius is more powerful as a notation software, but not as a MIDI editor, which essentially is what Encore is. Hi there, Sim. We know ourselves from Discord. But yeah, every time I minimize the program, it takes a while to load the sound font back. Unless... Whoops. Whoop. Get back in there. This is just really a cliche passage that I'm just trying to experiment with. And of course we need a pedal marking in here, otherwise the sound just smudges up. The pedal placement is awkward like this, because if I try to place it like a normal way, like it would be like this, it works, but all the harmonics of the pedal cut right here, right before the note. Whereas if you were to really play this in real life, you would make the transition seamless like this. So that's why I placed the pedal markings like right close to each other. Just realized I'm speaking with my microphone muted. So yeah, we need pedal markings here again. I suck at this. we still need a big, really, because with this motive, like the no 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 no, it's not exactly a motive. I don't know what to call this, but I could make something like a really big part, because we just it really opens up in this area, but I still think I can extract a even bigger area out of this little idea of sorts. Let's drop to a D sharp right down here. And here the marker to go 1 octave down is not working. Damn it. And see, when I mess about with the measure size, this glitch happens. I'm fond of this type of thing. Just going down the scale. You can pretty much foresee what I'm gonna do now. Yep, exactly. I'm fond of this. Jesus. Whoa. No, I'm gonna do a surprise. Make a surprise there. Yeah. At this point, this is not like the actual final stage. Like what I'm writing is not going to stay is not going to stay as is. This is mainly just a draft of the sonata, just to put a bunch of ideas together, and then if I like it or not, like for example, right now I'm not actually thinking about the exposition. I'm not thinking about the themes exactly. I'm just kind of shoving a bunch of ideas together just to see how it sounds. So I think I'll just for a sense of direction to where I'm moving, because at this point I'm really just putting a bunch of ideas together. Let me just listen again to the to this draft from the beginning. Well, so far to me, to my ears, it sounds coherent. Probably because I listened to this whole draft a couple thousand times. But how do you get your ideas for music? For the most part, I try to come up with original ideas, but sometimes, for example, on the second page here, this idea has been used by Mozart, I believe. I believed. This is how my English sounds when I'm not hearing myself, because these headphones just basically make me deaf. But this idea has been used by Mozart. It's almost a straight copy with just, but I'm transposing it to a different key. But it's exactly the same idea. I think a Mozart goes bum 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 bum. It goes something like this. It's from one of his piano sonatas as well. So for the most part, I tried to come up with original ideas. This part, where it goes dum bum 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 on the left hand, it screams Schubert to me, because Schubert used to do these things, especially these parts, these like grandiose parts of the music where it opens up beautifully this way. Bum bum bum. I just love this sort of thing in music, especially this very low D sharp. Boom. It's just so low, it just feels so good. Especially this part. These 8 measures here just... Oh, or rather... 6 measures. See, I crashed the program. Just by doing that. Just by selecting the notes, I crashed the program. This is how bad freaking just close nice hash because it's mining bitcoins. And level editor, and what? No, I want to close Encore. Thank you. But yeah, this is the sort of thing I have to endure every day when I'm trying to write drafts and everything. Because sooner or later, I am going to crash the program. And worst of all, in the case where I have all the text laid down, well, the score is not available because it was on my thumb drive. It's probably somewhere around here, pan 2609. There we go. That's the original file. See, when it just breaks all the text. It's still playable. That's my first sonata, but it just breaks all the text. Look at this. But it's still perfectly playable. But yeah, now I gotta open up the I gotta open up the file that I was editing, this one. This is how it is absolutely crucial for me to save this. Every time I place a note, I save it, because if I don't, I am going to regret it. Windows 10 is just so perfect. Oh yeah. What makes me want to go back to Windows 7. That's how good this is. Well. Now we have this, a comeback of this little idea. Boom, boom, boom. That I used just one last page. Here. No, here. Boom. Here it goes back to normal volume. Yeah, this is kind of breaking up on these 3 bars to this 4th one. Yeah, this transition here doesn't make any sense at all. And then I keep scrapping and scrapping and scrapping until I find something useful. And in like 1.5 hours I have to leave for college, and in 1 hour. Why are the pedals not simulated in the program? Do you not use them for this song? The first sonata in F sharp minor, I didn't use the pedal in the first movement, I believe, because it would just sound too muddy, if you know what I mean. Because if I try to place a pedal here, just to like, I would have to place the pedals a lot of times, and then I was really trying to get time here, but here's how it sounds. If it even wants to use it, it just, the sound gets way too muddy, as you can see. So that's why I didn't use it, just for the sake of clarity. I could have used a tenuto marking on the notes to kind of mend the transitions together like this. Because it's a you can actually hear the notes jumping, and when you have the tenuto marking like this, it kind of mends the transition together. The same can be done when you slur the notes together like this. It does the same thing, but like you have a slur marking reserved for the left hand. Like, if it's not a singing line, or if it's not how can I say that? If it's not an idea, for example, like in the last movement where we got dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. See, it's just, I'm just telling the performer to really shape like dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. See? And then I omit the slur markings, because from now on the performer will just use these slur markings as a the base for this motive like this, or motive, or passage, or whatever it's called. I'm gonna listen to the closing of my own sonata because it just sounds so great. I want to listen to it again. Yeah, so the closing of my first sonata, although to my ears it seems a little bit rushed, even though I give it a good transition between the theme A, which pretty much starts the movement. Here. This is theme A, this is just a little opening. But the first movement also has a moment that's kind of out of place, like this. Because look, we had a singing line here. Kind of feels out of place, but I wanted something to show off on the antepenultimate measure of the sonata. But yeah, I think I'll try to digest this idea, sort of, and try to come up with something. Probably tonight, I would say, because I still have time. And usually, like, I'm trying to take a different approach on writing my own music, where like now we have, like, what the hell is that? Machines digging or whatever. That's another reason to finish the test live stream right here, because usually when I write a song, for example, let me open one of the songs that I have here. This one. I usually write it all in one go. I just sit down and write and write and write, and then at the end it just sounds like a jumble of ideas that most of the time do not make any sense and are not good. For example, look at this. I'm just trying to come up with some sort of variation for the opening theme or idea, and I'm just kind of failing. And then the second part, which is the andante, it's very bland on harmony most of the time, and then it just jumped to octaves here. Like, it sounds decent for the most part, but it's sort of bland in harmony most of the time. That's what I'm talking about. Because I'm relying too much on the pedal. If you take out the pedal on this part, it just sounds nothing. It literally sounds nothing. Now, the reason why this is not playing, it's because technically what I did on this measure is not possible on Encore, because normally you cannot have two lines singing independently like this on Encore, because Encore doesn't work like that. So this is why it's not playing. It's playing this top note, but it's supposed to go. See? See here, you can see one example where I did use the built-in dynamic markings from Encore, and they sound way too quiet. Like listen to the forte, or forzando as it is. It's quieter than like the forte is quieter than the sections that I have no dynamic markings whatsoever. It just doesn't sound right, and the piano, which is supposed to be quiet, is way too quiet. I can barely hear it, and the volume, as you can see, is maxed out. But I put first what I do is that I write the song in a way that I can play it using Encore like this, and it sounds the way I want it to sound, and then I do a second version, which I call the print version, which is a version where we're going to have these sort of impossible measure arrangements such as this, and where I actually put down the dynamic markings because they're not going to be on the audio. But now what I'm trying to avoid Encore's dynamic markings altogether by doing note per note velocity control. As you can see, I just do Control Alt V, and I can control the dynamic transitions note per note as I have used it right here when it starts to open up. There's a gradual increase in volume throughout this whole section. See, no dynamic markings, no embedded crescendos and decrescendos. I just did note per note velocity control, and then to tell the performer what I want, then I'll place the crescendos and decrescendos. So that's basically how I'm trying to work from now on using Encore. Because I love the program. Yes, it's glitchy. Yes, it's limited as a notation software, but I love it as a MIDI editing software because I could basically make this any instrument in the VST in the sound font that I have. For example, if I want to change the instrument to I don't know, a harpsichord, I can. Of course, a harpsichord wouldn't have the sort of dynamic control. But yeah. Not to mention that this note doesn't even exist on a real harpsichord. But yeah, let's try another instrument just for shits and giggles. Still guitar. It sounds good for the most part. Because this sound font is like 700 megabytes, and every time I open the program, it has to load 700 megabytes worth of sound data into memory. But I'll just stop procrastinating in this because I still have to think more about the sonata and what I want with the themes, and I have to work on it and think more on the themes. That's it, because this is not the sonata itself, this is just a draft. But yeah, let's just go back to the grand piano. Because if there's one instrument that's hard to reproduce accurately on computers today, is the piano. Because there's just so much harmonics and so many it's just so many things that play a factor into making the piano sound a piano, that to this day it's still almost impossible to make a good sounding piano on a computer. But anyway, I'm gonna stop by now and try to think more about the sections on the sonata, and perhaps I'll extract something from this draft. But yeah, that's it. Let me go ahead and think more about this whole sonata thing, my second sonata.